Hello, everybody. Keaton Gillogly with you, and today we get an opportunity to talk to Jordan Cowan. Cowan was a part of the 2017 California League Championship team with the Modesto Nuts. He spent last year at Arkansas in Double-A, and he grew up a Mariners fan up in Washington. Jordan, how we doing?
I'm doing good, Keaton. How about you, brother?
Man, I'm doing good, staying safe, staying inside as much as I can, and getting a chance to talk to a lot of guys, so things have been good for me.
Nice. That's awesome to hear.
Well, let's get started for you. What's your quarantine routine been like?
Man, it's been crazy. It's been changing by the week. I'm down in Arizona now, so now they actually basically opened up everything for the most part. So now we've been going into like a baseball facility, going in there like 3 to 5 times a week. They're still taking the precautionary reasons. So like we come in like the morning time. There's only like a few of us that come in and get our hitting done, get like maybe a little workout in, just to kind of just try and stay in shape. But before that, it was just kind of do what you can around the house, not go completely insane, and just, do those house workouts. The good thing is like the Mariners, like trainers and whatnot, and strength coaches, if you needed anything, you just let them know and they would help us out.
Yeah, before you had a chance to start actually working out a little bit again, what were some of the resources you had around the house?
I have a couple like kettlebells that I would use. I got a couple bands as well, and then I ordered a couple extra bands, and then I got this these handles that kind of go around, so I was still able to like deadlift with that, do like rows and stuff. So honestly, there's a lot of just banded workout, a lot of core workouts, just to get the body moving a little bit. A little bit of running here or there. I'd go to the park next to my house and do sprints and stuff, just to try to keep the legs strong as much as I can.
Well, whenever baseball returns, I'm going to be really interested to see how the pitchers return versus the way the hitters return. We've had a chance to talk to a lot of the pitchers and how they're dealing with things. But, before you had a chance to get it back into the cage, what were some of the things you're able to do with your swing?
Honestly, like I have a big mirror at my place. And so I would do a lot of dry swings. And honestly, just like a lot of conversation. I still talk to Donnie a lot. And like him and I have been kind of talking swings and hitting, and honestly just watching a lot of video, and honestly just like a lot of video of you kind of like raking, like just getting those positive thoughts in your head, like because we miss it. Like right now, like we're usually like used to like beating our bodies up right now and like grinding every single day. So now it's like, man, like my body feels too healthy. Like I should be like on the field diving like for a ball right now, like so that's all you can do. Unfortunately, Keaton, is just like do some dry swings here and there, or if you have a cage, hitting your cage, like get some feels down, but just enjoy. Like, I think during this time, if anything, like it just shows like the inner kid comes back in you and like why you fell in love with the game, like in the first place.
So when you did start to get back into the cage, how did the swing feel initially? Like, have you been able to see live pitching yet?
Yeah, actually, as of like last Friday, I did see live pitching for like the first time, and man, it was different. Like at the facility, guys started coming back in. Pitchers have been kind of continuing to throw and had like the resources to do that. Faced a couple guys, and it was not pretty, but it was fun. It was fun. It was like a Sandlot like vibe to it. Like it was just like no coaches there. It was like the catcher's calling balls and strikes, so you guys are arguing. Like it was fun, man. It was fun just to compete again. Like I think that's what like we miss the most, is just like being able to compete, amongst ourselves and just go along with it.
So when you were going back to looking at some of the videos from past years and trying to find the times you were raking, what were some of the videos you found yourself watching the most?
Honestly, like I've had like just our video like coordinators like put like a highlight reel of yourself, like because I like to like just watch every once in a while, especially when you're struggling, because it's really easy to fall into like a bad mindset. And just like I remember talking to our mental strength coach, and he was the one that got me into this, was like just reminding yourself like you are a good hitter, like there's a reason why you're still here. And so he was the first one that put together. He had, I think, Josh Handler, I think when he was our video coordinator in 2017, he put together like a little highlight reel. And I still have that one to this day. Like I watch a lot of that one actually. And then I have one from like the Traveler season last year. I had our video guy do that, and he put it together, and just hitting a lot of doubles, you know, the 1 or 2 home runs I hit a season, and then like a lot of just good solid singles, good ABs, like just stuff like that.
First of all, Handler's going to be really excited he got a shout out in this interview.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, he's the man. He still stays in touch and like sees how he's doing. He's a good dude.
So were any of those highlights from the postseason run, the 2017 year, or?
Yeah, there were for sure. They're
You had
definitely
the
both,
2 big home runs.
They're both in there, 100%. You know they are.
Well, let's get into the 2017 season a little bit. You know, you mentioned you were talking to Donnie, and one of the great stories we got to hear from him when I talked to him earlier during the shutdown was about that play in Game 2 of the championship series. It was the sharp ground ball up the middle with Pistorici on the mound. Winning run starts at second base, and it went off his glove, trickles into shallow center, and Walton from shallow center field throws out the potential walk-off run at the plate. You hit the home run to win it in the next inning, and then you guys go on to win it in Game 3 at home and clinched at John Thurman Field. But back to that play where they could have walked off. Tell me from your perspective that play in Game 2.
Yeah, we tell this story to like every new team we go on because it is like I don't think people like realize like what happened because there was just so much going on in that play. But so before the game, like my arm had been hurting from the series, and it, of course, like we find out later, like that's when I had my torn labrum, and so it was not feeling good, and it happened the last game in Stockton. I actually stole second like the first inning, and like my shoulder jammed. I was like, man, that kind of like that didn't feel good, but you got that adrenaline rush and stuff. So now fast forward, we win that game 3 days later. My arm is still like just shot. So I was like, Donnie, dude, like my max throwing distance is probably like 90 feet. And so Donnie was like, he knew that better than anybody else. And when he dove for that ball and I'm running to it, like it was like probably a good solid 120 foot throw. And like something in the back of my mind when I was going to pick up the baseball, I was like, oh my God, like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make this throw to the plate and throw this guy out. And so I just remember kind of being over the baseball while Donnie's still on the ground. I'm like, Donnie, I can't throw it. I can't throw it. Like, you got to get up and throw it. And he freaking gets up and does that like 180 spin. And he couldn't have thrown a better throw to the plate. Like, you remember, like, it was right on the money. And all I remember is, like, as I saw the throw going home, like, I was like, oh, we got him. And he, like, jumped into my arms and we, like, hugged each other. And it was just so funny because, like, he knew too. Like he knew that he had to get up and make that play, and it's just like a funny story that we tell now because it was just such a sick play. And then like I remember also like we had so many things go our way that series. I remember he took a bad hop like off the shoulder, and it literally like went to my chest, and we turned it for like a double play ball. Like it was awesome. Like that team is still one of my favorite teams I ever played on. And I mean, last year's team was also like just unfortunately we had some injuries towards the end, but it was just a fun run that we had.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about that regular season, just in general. I mean, you guys won the title in that first half, but it's still, you didn't run away with it. You guys had to clinch that on the second to last day of the first half, and on through everything else. So yeah, what were some of the memories of the regular season in 2017?
Man, that was also like the first time I played for Mitch, and I remember, I mean, he was still one of the best managers I've ever played for. I mean, I feel like I grew up a lot that season. Like we all have our ups and downs. We had players come in and out, and it literally felt like a family like vibe to it. Like it didn't matter who came in or not. Like you were like our new brother. Like you're just like our long lost brother that we didn't know, and now you come in and like I remember Braden, and like people forget like he was there in like the beginning, and then ended up getting called up to AA Mariscal. Same thing. Like I mean, they were doing their thing and ended up getting called up, which they should have. And it was cool. And what I remember most was a lot of people don't like, I feel like remember, like we were kind of struggling going into like those playoffs. But like we never felt like we were, it was just like some things just weren't going our way. A couple hops maybe, maybe that day our pitchers just were leaving balls over the plate more, and then we didn't score those runs that game like we should have, and then vice versa, like our pitcher shoved and we didn't hit that game. But man, what I remember most was honestly like Mitch like had us just believe in 24/7. Like it didn't matter if we lost 3, 4, 5 straight, and it didn't matter if we won 3, 4, 5 straight. Like it was the same vibe every single day. we showed up, we did our thing, got our stuff done, and I can say, like, and I think everyone on that team can say, like, they became a better baseball player and also, like, just, like, a better man, like, over time, and just, like, growing up over that season was just, like, a lot of fun.
Right. And, you guys had the coaching staff. You mentioned Mitch, Pete Woodworth, Joe Thurston
Yep.
was the hitting coach. Jim
Yep.
Pankovits was there as well. Tell me a
Yeah.
little bit about the impact of Jim Pankovits on that team.
He was the best. And so I had him as, like, my infield coordinator. So I've already, like, at that time had, like, a really good relationship with Panky. And then obviously having him as, like, a coach full time, like, I absolutely loved it. Like, he was such a good coach there. And I remember talking to Mitch, and he said he learned a lot because Panky had already, like, managed for a few years, and everyone loved him. I mean, everyone loved that entire coaching staff. He brought, like, just, like, that older like, baseball vibe to it, and just seeing, like, his perspective on, like, the baseball world, and, like, his stories about when he played was just, it was hilarious and funny. And the dude was always smiling, like, on the field, whether, like, I don't know how he was, like, off the field, but when he showed up, he looked like just the happiest dude on earth. Like, he brought that, like, positive energy. I remember, I got a good story actually for you, Keaton, about him. And this is where I knew he was, like, one of the best coaches, because I was struggling. I kept swinging at the high pitch, and I was just like, man, like, Panky, I come in the dugout, and I was like, why can't I lay off that high pitch? I'm thinking he's gonna give me, like, some, like, adjustment, like, as, like, a hitting, and he's like, he just turns to me, he just goes, little man syndrome. And I was like, what? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I swung at the high pitch and I made it to the big leagues. And he, like, walked away, and I was like, you know what, you're right. Like, basically just said, like, it's okay. Like, you're going to swing at it, And I swear to God, to this day, I swear I've gotten better at the high pitch, just because, like, now I just accept that I'm going to swing at it, like we all are. And he, like, you know what I mean? Like, he just always had those kind of, like, remarks that were just, like, helped, you mentally. Like, he never made you overthink, like, stuff that just, you didn't need to think about too much. Like, one bad at bat, you don't let, like, the next three now, like, affect you. Like, it was really cool, man. I miss him, and I know he's doing his thing now too.
What about Joe Thurston? Joe Thurston was the hitting coach on that team too. What was it like working with him that year?
He was awesome. He helped me with my swing so much. I remember there were so many times I'd fall in a funk, and we'd get out there early, just him and I. He'd even come hit with me sometimes. And, we just talk. Like, a lot of our, like, best, like, hitting days was literally just us talking hitting and talking approach. And, we built a really, really strong relationship that we still have to this day. Even, like, I talked to him probably the most in camp this year. And he just helped me. I think he also knew the type of player I was too, and how hard I can be on myself sometimes. And he was there to, like kind of, like, calm me down, like, dude, it's okay. And he'd pull me off to the side. And sometimes, like, maybe I didn't want to hear it in the moment, but, like, I needed to hear it, and he would tell me, whatever that was at that time. And again, like, if he wasn't, like, a big mechanics guy, a lot of it was just, like, I need to, pick up the ball just a little earlier. Just hearing that kind of stuff was, went a long ways, I felt like.
Now, Modesto was not your first stop in the California League. You had
Correct.
2 years in Bakersfield, and since the Mariners went from Bakersfield to Modesto, we did have some fans kind of transfer over to become Nuts fans after
Sweet. Okay.
Blaze.
Nice.
So I feel like I have a bit of a responsibility to keep the memory of the Bakersfield Blaze alive.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you remember about you spent your most time in Bakersfield in 2016. What do you remember about the 2016 Bakersfield Blaze?
Oh, man. I remember we went on another playoff run. Like, it was sick. Like, it was last season, and I remember a lot of fans were actually, like, really getting behind us, and they were just praying. I know they were still trying to figure out if there was a possibility of, like, bringing them back and stuff. And it was a lot of fun. Like, I loved hitting there, like, low key. Like, it was just it was crazy. It was I remember because that's when I had my first shoulder surgery, so I went there the second half of the season. And Chaco was our manager, and he took me in under his wing, helped me out in a huge way. That's where I met some, like, the older guys. And it was fun. And what was really fun about that was, from what I remember, was they kind of struggled off, like, early on. And then they just went on this huge run of just winning games left and right. And then that's kind of where I started showing up, was in the middle of that. And it felt like we were just winning every night. and it was a lot of fun. The fans were great. They started coming in. The playoffs was, it was loud, and it was a blast. Unfortunately, I think we lost in like a 5-game series there, but it was still a lot of fun, and I miss playing there.
So did you guys lose to High Desert, the Mavericks?
No, we lost in the semis.
Okay.
I think it was to Visalia.
Okay.
If don't quote me on that, though. I'm not sure.
I know. I'm gonna have to go look it up now, but because the High Desert won it that year in their final year, because they were the other team that left the league that year.
Correct. Yeah, I think they won it. Yeah, and I think they beat Visalia.
Well, let's. So here's something I'm a little interested in, because, for you guys are all baseball fans, all diehards. The guys run around the minor leagues, and we had a really interesting year in Modesto last year. So going back to 2019. How do you guys follow some of the other affiliates or some of the other guys around? And I asked this question because of what Reggie McClain did last year. I mean, he came out and looked like a completely different pitcher at the start of last year, and then got up to Double-A in the middle of the year. But how much did you start to hear about a guy like a Reggie McClain, or what Cal Raleigh was doing in July, or what Julio Rodriguez was doing in August? How much are you guys hearing about that and kind of seeing it while you're at the Double-A clubhouse?
I think, if you have a Twitter or whatnot, like you'll see like Mariner Miners, like they'll tweet a lot of that. Lookout Landing, I know they tweet a lot about us as well. So you just hear through those people, and then also like just through the other organization. Like if you have like a coordinator come in town, they're like, man, like when Cal Raleigh was going on that streak, it was like, dude, it is like. And I remember like asking when some guys would come up, like that's the first question. It's like, dude, like what is the streak like? And they're just like, it's insane. He's literally hitting a home run every single like at bat, like. Because it's crazy, right? And so I think a lot of it's just through like social media, and then like just, we all have friends in other levels and whatnot. So you text them and message them, and you talk through FaceTime or whatever it is, and they tell you stories or whatnot, and that's kind of just how we hear. I feel, at least personally, like that's how I hear about everything and everybody.
So the 2019 season, you guys do get Cal up there. You guys end up making the run into the postseason. You guys get eliminated by the Tulsa Drillers. But after that is one of the great stories in Mariners minor league history, with the quadruple call-up, which included 3 Nuts alums. What was your perspective of watching those 4 guys, Donovan Walton, Kyle Lewis, Justin Dunn, and Art Warren, get called up in the same 20-minute stretch?
It was so sick. Like, I remember talking to like the guys too about it, and it was like that was one of the coolest moments that could have happened at that time. Like, cause we're all down, like we're like, we battled, we grinded that whole season, and to come up that short, it was like, kind of feel like took a gut punch. And then immediately it's just like, you're just so excited. Like you're even more overly excited, because now these guys like that have been chasing their dreams since they were like a little kid, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, whenever they fell in love with the game. And now they're getting to go up and get that opportunity. And I remember hugging every single one of them. And it was so cool. And especially like I've built that relationship with Donnie since I played up the middle with him for a couple of years now. And Art, like I've been grinding through the system with those guys, Kalu, Dunn. I know I just met Dunn last year, but we became really close because we were locker buddies like all season long too. So it was so cool, like to see their faces. All of them were basically tearing up, and just shock too. It's like they couldn't even move, all of them. Like they were just in so much shock, like their bodies shaking. And it was a special moment, Keaton. Like I still talk about it, like to see them and like be along, like kind of feel like with it. It was a special moment for sure.
Well, and then did you get a chance to go see him play a little bit?
I did. Yeah, I did. So when I went home to Seattle, I went to Dunn's debut and I went to Donnie's debut. Unfortunately, missed Art, but I did watch it on TV. And Kalu, he was already in. I think he had 7 home runs by the time I got back there to Seattle. That dude immediately started going off. And it was so cool to like see him play in that big league uni. Like it was so sick. Like because it's like you built that relationship with them now. Like they're your brothers, and now like people are like watching them on TV and like on an everyday basis, and seeing them in that big league stadium. It was a special moment. It was really cool.
Yeah, Mariners fans are excited about Kyle Lewis and Evan White too. Those guys that are Mariners fans would be much more familiar with right now if we had games. But from a hitting perspective, what impresses you about Kyle Lewis?
His approach, like that man, he'll get beat on like a fastball, and just immediately how he'll make that adjustment. Like, he's really smart. He's a really smart hitter. He's one of the best at like working like counts too. I feel like the man's always in like a 3-2 count. Like, I mean, he led the team in walks last year, and like you're just like, wait, what? Like, it wasn't like Donnie or something like in the leadoff spot. It's like, no, it was Kyle. Like, that dude has so many and he's really good at like swinging at the right pitch too. He doesn't chase a lot. From what it seemed like, you know, we all chase a little bit obviously, but he, you know, he was just such a pure hitter, and his power the other way too. Like, you can't teach that either. Like, it's crazy. And Manor fans got a glimpse of it last year, obviously, like some of his power, you know, I don't think he pulled maybe one of those home runs. Everything else was like right center, left center gap. I mean, the dude's pop is unreal. And, you know, he's just a good overall hitter too. He's not a power guy. Like, dude just hits missiles all over the ballpark.
Yeah, and that's the same thing we saw when he was in Modesto too. He had a ton of opposite field home runs while he was there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Evan White, you're an infielder. You play next to him at second base. He's a first baseman. How good is his defense?
He's so good. He makes the whole infield better, because then it's like it gives you like that confidence knowing how good he is over there, that it doesn't matter what – like, it almost makes your throws actually better, just because you're not thinking about, you know, you're not like gripping the ball too much. Like, you're just like letting it go. Because you're like, he's coming down with it. He's going to make a special play, even if it's like the worst throw you've ever made. Like, that dude is so good over there. He's a vacuum. And he's such an athlete too, you know, like, I'm like, he's literally I tell people this, I'm like, he's a left-handed shortstop playing first. Like, the dude's a good athlete, and, you know, and he takes, you know, pride in his defense. I mean, the dude is doing defense every single day. It's August. I remember last year, I'm sure you saw it in Modesto, like, it's 100 degrees. You know, it could be very well. It's August, right? We're all tired. He could very well be like in the clubhouse, and no, he's getting his ground balls in that he needs, like, not, you know, destroying his body, but being smart about it, going through his routine, and then boom, like, get ready for the game, like, every single day. And then it shows, I feel like, too, like, in the game, and that's why he's one of the best I've ever for sure played with, especially at first base.
Do you think people underrate how impactful an elite first baseman defensively can be?
I think so. I think, like, because, like, the stereotype, right? It's like, you know, especially like old school, it's like put like the bigger guy there, and it's like that's not the case, especially nowadays. Like, look at the first basemen in the league. Like, most of them are literally shortstops playing first. You got like Anthony Rizzo. You got who's that guy with Texas that's really good too? I remember playing him for a little bit. But yeah, I mean, all of them are like really, really good, and I feel like that's kind of where the game's going. Is a first baseman helps you out so much. I mean, think about, like, you're talking about maybe 10 throwing errors a team might have with a guy that maybe can't pick it well, but Evan picks those balls. That's 10 less errors. That's 10 less maybe runs for your team. And who knows, that could be 10 different, like, more wins on your team as well, just off of him making those plays. And now, you know, not expanding the inning. Now the pitcher's got to throw more pitches. Like, it's really cool. Like, I feel like he does a really good job of that.
Well, that's cool, man. I mean, you got a chance to be in front of a lot of cool things and experience a lot of cool stuff so far, and hopefully we get a chance to see you out there again soon. Final question for you. Which heat was more impressive, the Central Valley heat in Modesto or that muggy heat in Arkansas?
Oh, man. That muggy heat in Arkansas is something else. I guess being on the West Coast, right? Like, we don't really get that humidity. And I used to tell people, I'm like, man, when it's 110, 115, it's hot. But when it's 100, 105 with the 100% humidity, you're just sticky. Like, it was almost worse at nighttime because it's like be so muggy. So I would rather be in that California heat any day of the week for sure. Like, at least like when it's nighttime, it maybe doesn't cool off, but you don't got the sun beating on you, and at least you're not like sticky and feeling like when you're taking off your jersey at the end of the game, it's not like 10 pounds coming off your back either.
And then we do see the Targaryen flag behind you. I know you're not a Game of Thrones fan, so that's not yours?
That's not mine, no.
Whose is it?
It's the strength coaches that I've been working out with here. So he's a big Game of Thrones fan. I know a lot of people are, and I've had so many buddies that are like, yo, you got to watch Game of Thrones. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then I hear it's like 10 seasons long or whatever it is, and like hour episode. I just haven't done it yet.
Just an interesting background.
Right? I know.
Well, again, man, awesome to hear you doing well, and glad to hear you're healthy for now, and looking forward to seeing you out on the field whenever baseball returns.
Awesome. Thank you, Keaton. Pleasure, man. It was a lot of fun.
John Thurman Field is the place for fun.